Hello. Hi everybody. How are you doing? Sita here from the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. And I thought today I would just squeeze in one last little video in India because I am leaving tomorrow. And just not sure when I will get around to doing the next one. So, being the video in India, there's the little background sound, but I think it's now retreated off into the distance. So, this is the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. I'm Sita Giri, and I am a nomadic knitter. I spend a lot of my time in India, and I'm from South Africa. I've been in India now for 3.5 months. And I am returning back to Cape Town, South Africa tomorrow. And this time I do have to say, not one day too soon, which is quite a rare thing for me to say. I love being in India, and I have loved being in India this time, but I've been in South India, and that is not my usual habitat. Normally in the Himalayas, in the lovely high, cool mountain air, and down here in the south, it is very hot and very humid, and that really does not make for easy knitting. Anyway, I've actually knitted quite a lot of things since I've been down here, and I am looking forward to arriving back in South Africa at the beginning of winter. So that means lovely cool temperatures and nice cozy fires and hot water bottles at night and all those lovely cozy things, and of course very comfortable for knitting. Anyway, here is a little thing that I just started yesterday. This is a little Sophie scarf that I'm knitting. This is actually some of the silk, the Mulberry Silk, that I have come to purchase here in India, and I've made quite a few things out of it while I've been here. So I thought I'd just show you a couple of things today. I got Airy Silk, I got Mulberry Silk, and I got something called Vilasa Silk, which is very, very fine lace weight, which I have actually knitted a whole sweater with the tail double. I don't have it with me here, but I could perhaps get up and fetch it. But what I would love to show you to start off with is this absolutely light as a feather. I think this weighs, if it weighs 20 grams, it's a lot. This is the Vilasa lace weight. And this is like a small neck scarf by Gudrun Johnston. It's got a name that I can't remember right now. I'm really bad. It doesn't go with what I'm wearing, of course. But isn't it gorgeous? It's so delicate. It's really lovely, and I knitted it in a day. It looked totally different before I blocked it. And now it's just this gorgeous, wafty, lovely little accessory, like a little feather. This is going to be a gift for a dear friend of mine. It's actually her birthday today, and I'll see her in a couple of weeks, and I will gift her this beautiful, lovely little accessory made out of the Vilasa silk. I've made a couple of shawls out of the Vilasa. They are on my past podcasts. You will be able to see that. And then I've held it double as well, and I've, with the leftovers of the shawls, I have knitted myself a color blocked sweater, which is really very, very nice. So that's that. I really love this. I blocked it yesterday. I'm in love with it. It's not my color, but it is very beautiful. So that is that. One thing that I have made in this past week, last weekend I was part of the 50 Fabulous Knitathon, which I'm sure you've heard all about. I spoke a lot about it in my last podcast, and I started knitting one of Pia's designs called My Drop Top. So I decided to use the Mulberry Silk, and I had these two colors which were dyed up for me by Sunray Creations. In fact, I had three colors, but I thought I would get it out of the two colors, which I didn't really. I had to move into a third color. But this has turned into a beautiful top. That's the back. I'm not going to show you that first. This is called My Drop Top. It's a lovely tee with a very lovely raglan, very, very casual, rolled edges, a rolled neckline, and it's a gorgeous top. It's a lovely tee. I knitted the third size, and yes, I knitted it on I think I used a 3.75 millimeter for this. She recommends a 3.5, but this Mulberry Silk is a little bit thicker than a fingering. It's more a sport, and I can see I haven't blocked this yet. I probably won't block it until it's been worn a bit, because I think it's going to drop down quite a lot. So what I had to do is sort of mix the colors up to the best of my ability, but I still ran out of these two colors, the sort of marley brown charcoal and this lovely light pinkish beige, which had some tiny little flecks of blue in it. So I ran out, and I thought, should I just make it very cropped? I thought, no, I don't want to. So I had another charcoaly color. That was the third one. That's what I'm knitting the Sophie Scarf out of now. So I just mold that into the bottom section. So you can see the back does hang down a bit because it has this lovely big sort of teardrop at the back, which is a lovely feature. It's very, very nice. It does hang down and it causes the back to drape a bit, which is really lovely. And I'm very happy with the whole look of this garment. I think it will grow. I am actually going to give this to my daughter. She will be totally delighted. She doesn't know about that yet, but she's always asking me to knit her something grey. So I thought this could actually fall within the realms of something grey. So I'm hoping she's going to love it. It's very much her style. And I'm looking forward to giving that to her this weekend when I see her. So, what did I learn in amongst all these silk projects that I've been busy knitting? Silk is quite a different animal to wool. As we know, it comes from a different animal. It is an animal protein, and it handles quite differently. And when you start knitting with it, it's like, wow, I didn't realize how different it could be from merino or mohair merino, which is what I really love to knit with. It is, of course, doesn't feel like it has any stretch whatsoever when you knit with it. It's a bit like a cotton or a linen or a bamboo, it can be. So this Mulberry Silk is very much sort of in the vein of bamboo, in that it's very soft and silky, and it's a singles, and it's quite plump, but it is heavy. It is actually heavy. The drop top, you know, when I pick it up, it's probably 260 grams, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a short sleeve top, and it's not very long, and it's not a large size. So it has a weight, and it drops as you, well, no pun intended, it's the drop top, but the stitches drop as you wear it, so it tends to stretch. Hence, I would rather have my daughter try it on and maybe wear it a bit before I decide to block it. So that was the Mulberry Silk. that I found is quite weighty. The lace weight Vilasa, which is this is just, I love it. I really, probably this is about my favorite out of all the silks. I've used it mostly, excuse me, held double. This is the first time I've used it single as silk, and oh, I love it. It's so gorgeous. I do have lots of odd scraps of different colors, and because it takes so little, I'm sure I'll be making a few more of this lovely little neckerchief. What else about the silk? It's probably easier for me to knit with it in the heat, although it does seem to hold a bit of moisture. There does come a point where it feels a little bit sticky on the needles, and but it's not furry or hairy, and it's been really great to knit with. So I'm really enjoying that. One thing I learned on this is actually the first pure lace thing that I've ever knitted. It's not anything very complicated by any means, but it is completely a lace design, knitted with a lace weight yarn on a 4mm needle. So that's an extremely loose gauge. Each row starts with a yarn over, which is quite interesting if you're not used to starting rows with a yarn over, but once you get used to it, it's very easy. And then I guess what one would ideally do is have those blocking wires that you would thread through these yarn over loops when you block it. Now, I did not have that, so I just used pins, and I didn't have enough pins, so I just use the pins in every second yarn over, but it still has a very lovely lacy edge, and I'm very happy with that. One thing they suggested, and I did, this is the cast off edge, is an Icelandic bind-off. Nowadays there are just so many different bind-offs. I find it quite funny actually that up until now, we've managed with a long tail and with a backwards loop and with a German twisted. And I'm talking on cast-ons, bind-offs, Italian bind-offs, Icelandic bind-off, regular bind-off, extra stretchy bind-offs, tubular bind-offs. I've tried quite a few of them, but I find by the time I get to the end of a project, I used to think that the I-cord bind-off was enough of a mission. Once you'd knitted a massive Stephen West shawl with 900 or over 1,000 stitches, now you had to do the I-cord bind-off. 3 stitches forwards, 1 stitch back, so on and so on and so on. But anyway, I love that now, and that's pretty normal. But I must say that this Icelandic bind-off is really lovely. I've never actually tried the Italian bind-off, and I'm not really up for doing a bind-off that requires you to use a needle and to sew the stitches. I have done a tubular bind-off on some Olga Jazzy fingerless mitts, and it's a beautiful finish. It really is. But I don't choose to, do the most professional looking. I find whatever bind-off is comfortable for me, I like to use. But this Icelandic bind-off, which, as I said, is something new, I will be using it again, that's for sure. So I'm on my way back tomorrow. I've got 16 or 17 hours of flying back from India, and I'll arrive in Cape Town. My daughter will come and fetch me. I'm very excited about that, and then it'll be time for me to hand out all the wonderful silk that I have been collecting, and some of the beautiful block printed textiles. This is actually an Indian cotton textile dress that I've actually had for years, 4 or 5 years. Gosh, I live in it, I must say. But I'm bringing back a whole lot of fabric, and I'm going to settle in for the winter and do some knitting with friends and find a nice place to snuggle up and spend time with my daughter and my granddaughter and my friends. And I will be recording some more videos for you for the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. I don't know what's in store. I am planning a workshop, a knitting workshop or a knitting retreat. This has changed a bit. I was going to do it in September, but I don't know. It's going to happen. I'm not really such a forward planner. I'm quite spontaneous. I like to, go with the flow, as they say. And I will be exhibiting a whole lot of my shawls at Montebello Design Centre in Newlands. I don't know if you've ever been there, if you live in Cape Town or if you go to Cape Town. It's off Newlands Avenue. It is a beautiful, beautiful historic series of buildings, workshops. There's lots of crafters there. There's a couple of wonderful restaurants, and there is the Montebello Design Centre, which is a gorgeous handcrafted shop. Everything is handcrafted, curated very beautifully, and they do stock some of my shawls, and I will be taking in some fresh stock that I've been making, some silk items, some accessories. So go and have a look if you'd like to see what I do. And yeah, let's see what the next step brings. But for today, I thought I would just pop in and say hello and goodbye from India. Thanks for sticking it out here with me in India, in my noisy places. Everybody seems to have loved the sound effects, which is great. That makes me very happy. And now I just have to find a place to upload this video, and that might only be once I get back to South Africa, because the Wi-Fi speeds here are not very fast, and it takes forever. So I say thank you very much for joining me. I'll take you back with me to South Africa, and I'll be there for a while, and we'll be knitting together. So thanks for joining me, and look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions about anything, I'm open to answering questions. I love a bit of comment and communication. I don't seem to have very many comments that continuously go on my channel. But if you'd like to ask me any questions, please feel free to do so. And I'll do my best to answer. So have a wonderful day and take care, and thank you for joining me.